Excuse the hair, it's kind of flying all over the place. It's a little warm down here. We're getting some temperatures back up here in the Delaware Valley. So, man, hate it when your nose itches. My name is Tenacious Earl, and back again for another Stratomatic ball game here on the Tabletop Baseball channel. If you're a subscriber, thank you very much. You're welcome to hit the subscribe button. You'll get a chance to find out first when we're on the live video stream, as we are right now. What the heck that was? Ooh, that was some kind of ladybug. I just crushed it. Tore off one of its poor wings. Anyway, it was sitting there on my bench top here and didn't realize that's what it was. Poor thing. So, yeah, it's going to be the Marlins and the Angels here. Good morning, Mark. Marlins 9-5, Angels 5-9. Mirror image records. I've been toying around with my setup here. I'm hoping this works out a little better. I don't know. I guess we'll find out when I turn this up like this. So, let's give it a whirl. Okay, so raised it up a little bit, and let's see, Fernandez isn't going to be the first to pitch. It'll be Santiago. I'm going to try using my dice tray. I don't know if this is all visible or not, but I guess we'll find out in the long run. Okie dokie. Well, let's give it a shot. Worst it can do is not be useful. But okay, so Marlins. Again, this is the final game day of, and I put August. It's actually May. This project I'm running in May and June. The other project I was doing, the History Maker one, I was doing in August and September. So it's May 17th. So it's a day game. Both teams are switching up the catchers automatically, which means that the Marlins will get Real Muto because he didn't play the last game. Carlos Perez comes back in. He was injured, so he will start this game. So they have their starting catchers in effect. So let's see. They were a 5 role for the Marlins were. So that was the second baseman. Rojas started at second base last game, so he gets the day off. And then the right fielder, Stanton, he rolled that he didn't need rest, so he'll be playing. Be Prado at third. Ichiro Suzuki will play in center for the injured Marcell Ozuna. Giancarlo Stanton in right. Christian Yelich in left. JT Realmuto behind the plate. Derek Dietrich at second. Chris Johnson at first. Denny Hechavarria shortstop, and Jose Fernandez gets the start on the mound for the Marlins. For the Angels, it'll be lefty Hector Santiago. And we will get rolling here on this Labor Day. Although in terms of the simulation, this is May 17th. So here we go. Martin Prado, third baseman. That's a 2-9. And against a lefty, he will fly out to left field. I see I have a little bit of a glare here. How does this work out? That might be a little better. Although now I can't really see the... We'll have to fight through the glare, I guess. Unless I move this a little closer down here. That might be better. Because I need the light to see the cards. So... I think this will work. We'll see. I really need to stay a little more even-keeled. That's a fly ball to left, 1 out. I need to stay more even-keeled. It's not that big of a deal, really. I mean, you'll have days when the D20 gets a little wonky, and then you'll have days where it just seems to be in the midst of everything, and then you'll have other days where it seems to be like helping out on the high side. So, Ichiro, 4-8. Against a lefty. That'll be another fly ball to left. Tries to go the other way with it, and That'll be the second out, as Ortega gets underneath it. Giancarlo Stanton. Ortega having the first two putouts, and that's a 2-7 against a lefty, 1-4 single chance. And it's a 6, and that will be a grounded third. That play will be made by Yunel Escobar, and that will be it for the Marlins. Now it's going to be the Angels' turn. So no score. You know what? Maybe what if I do? That's the lowest lamp setting. So let me see if I can see that there's it's a little bright there in the camera. I don't know how it looks on anybody's television or anything, but we'll just keep going here. I'm hoping that this works out. If we have to, we can try and adjust things again. Escobar, as I mentioned, third baseman, leads off for the Angels. So the Angels, again, Perez in there at catcher. C.J. Cron at first base needed the day off. So against a righty, that's not the greatest matchup. The other two positions that had to be checked were shortstop and right field, and Simmons didn't need rest, and Calhoun will never get rest because he's got more at plate appearances than will suit the rest role. So Escobar at third leads off. Andrelton Simmons at short, bat second. Cole Calhoun in right. The third batter, then Mike Trout in center. Albert Pujols at first. Carlos Perez catching. Rafael Ortega in left. Johnny Giavotella at second base. And Hector Santiago pitching. And I just had one fly out of my hand. All right, there's a 2-7 against a righty, and there's a single. Right through the hole on the left side. So Simmons up, and there's a 4-5 against a righty, and he strikes out. Gets him. So Cole Calhoun. There is a 3-4 against a righty, and it's a ground ball to second base. The only play is to first. So with two down, there'll be Mike Trout coming up with a runner in scoring position. And a 6-7 against a righty, ground ball to second. So Dietrich is a 4E10, not good range. They're holding Escobar, and Trout's a righty, so he's going to be actually a 5E10. This could hurt. This is going to hurt the Marlins a bit, but let's see. So that is an 8. So no error chance for Dietrich because he is above a 21. Well, above a 22. So let's see. The 5 and a 13, and he will just barely make the play. If it's a 12, he would be holding the runner on. That would be a single, but instead he will get to that, throw to first, and the inning will be over. Close call there for the Marlins, but a diving stop from Dietrich gets the job done. So, good morning to those who have just joined us. No score, Miami and the LA Angels. It's Fernandez on the mound for the Marlins, Santiago for the Angels, and Santiago out there now to face Yelich. Against a lefty 5-6, it's a fly ball towards Trout, and he will grab it. One down. Real Muto against a righty, a 4-8, and that's a tall pop-up to Simmons, and Simmons, no problems with that. Derek Dietrich, 2 outs. and a 611 against a lefty. Ballpark home run chance against a lefty, though. Dietrich has weak power, so this is it's a good day, good weather day at Angel Stadium, but that only means 4s on the hits and 8s from both sides on the home run. So this is a 1 to 8 single chance for Dietrich, who is a weak power hitter, and it's a 19 in any regard. So that will be a liner to second baseman Javatella, and 1-2-3 inning for Santiago here. Still no score. So Pujols, batter, against Jose Fernandez. 1-8 against a righty, and he will shoot one for the second hit of the game for the Angels. Right up the middle. That is a single, so brings up Carlos Perez. They are going to try to hit and run here with Perez, since he hits into a fair amount of double plays. Pujols not a good runner. That is a 4-9, so instead we stay on the pitcher card. Against a righty, 4-9. Need a 1 or a 2 on the D20 for a single. And it'll be a ground ball to third base A. Now, I got to look at the chart here. I think that... Let's see. No, I think that is still a double play ball. So Pujols, true to form, not quick enough, and that is going to be an around the horn double play for the second out. And Rafael Ortega, that's a 4-6 against a lefty, and he will draw a 2-out walk. See, does Ortega steal much here? So Hernandez -2, Real Muto -2, so that would make it a 1 to 12 chance if he gets a good lead. He does not get a good lead, so we will re-roll with Morning Beatles. And I saw Larry and Tribe Fan here at one point or another, so let's so Ortega doesn't go. Javatella. Oh. See, this is the trouble that I have when I use this box, is that sometimes it just busts out. And I don't really have a blocker to keep it from doing that. So a 4-6 against a righty, and that's a strikeout. And the Marlins and Fernandez get out of the inning, even though they give up a hit and a walk. Friendly double play helps that situation. It's still 0-0. Sit back down here just a second. Okay, Chris Johnson, 7, 8, 9 hitters here. Move this over a little bit more. Johnson against Santiago, 6-9 against a righty, and this is trouble. Normal power against a lefty, 1 to 17, and Johnson will take him out of here. Would be the first hit given up, and it's a 19. So that means a triple, and I've been going back and forth about whether I'm going to do my... I think I'm going to change it for next game, so I'm going to still stick with a double. He doesn't have one, but I've been convinced by the masses that I don't check pitchers to see if they... Although, off of a pitcher's card, you would never get... But I don't check when it's a hitter's card triple to verify the that. So I think I'm going to switch back after this series and just honor whatever results on the card. Hechavarria, 5-4 righty, grounded to third. That is Escobar. He's a 4E25. That is not a good rating. So a 4 and a 15. So he will get to it. But an 11 with an E25 at third base, he will make the play, and the runner will have to hold. Brings up Jose Fernandez. Good bunter, but I think they're gonna. He's got a pretty decent opportunity to hit here. They're gonna go ahead and let him swing away. Getting that runner up to third with 2 outs really isn't that big of a deal. So Fernandez will swing away here. And it's leaning, so I'm going to have to re-roll that. Why do I do that? It's fine. Whatever. It's a... What is it? Passed ball opportunity. A 1... means a passed ball. It's not going to get it. Should have just left it be. 2-9, and that's a strikeout. That 6-9 would have been big trouble for the Angels there, but instead, it's the way it goes. And Prado now still with a runner at second and 2 outs. 8 on the D24, 6 righty, and that's a walk. It's easy to get frustrated by your methods if you just let it happen. If I would just be steadfast and not worry about it, then it probably... And there's a 1. So a 1-3, being a wild pitch. It's an 11. 6-4. I don't think you can see the 1 here, but it was hanging there. 6-4 against a lefty catcher X. I haven't had a catcher X in a long time. So this is Perez, 2E2, 2 and a 3. Wild pitch or ground out. So the wild pitch goes off, or wait, yeah, the wild pitch goes from, no, I think it's the pitcher's wild pitch rating, right? Double check that. It's a while since I've had one of these opportunities. Yeah, I mean, there's no other reason you would go with it except for this. So a 1-3 would move the runners up, and it doesn't. So that will be a ground ball out. Just a nubber in front of the plate, and Perez is able to throw over to first for the final out. So, yeah, that's something that I really should work on. I think my frustration level is probably unjustified in a lot of cases, and I should just enjoy the game and not get so caught up in my exasperation over an injury or this or that. It's not really that big of a deal, probably, in the grand scheme. Pitcher's hitting card number 3 for Santiago. 5'10". Santiago bats from the right side, and that's a walk. Not a good start there for Fernandez against the pitcher. Brings up Escobar. 6'10", 12 on the D20. You don't even need to see that, really. 6'10", against a righty. That's a strikeout. 1 out. Simmons. 3-6, and against a right-hander, this is going to be at least a single. 1-9 double, and it's a 19, so it will be a single. First and third. Brings up Cole Calhoun, the lefty. Chance to do some real damage here. playing a double play depth 3-6 again. That's a walk. Bases are loaded for Mike Trout. Again, they'll play double play depth. They want to get out of this inning. 6-2 against a right-hander. Strikes him out. Big strikeout for Fernandez. Brings up Albert Pujols. Still bases jammed. That's a 4-11 against a righty. And another strikeout. He strikes out the side in the midst of 2 walks and a single. Fernandez escapes trouble and still no score. Both teams have had opportunities to get on the board, and neither of them have capitalized. So, Giancarlo, don't call me Mike Stanton, at the plate, leading off the 4th. 5-5, righty. That's a fly ball to center, underneath it, Trout, and easy grab for him. Christian Yelich. And that's a 2-9 against a lefty, and he strikes out. Pitchers dueling pretty hard right here. Haven't been perfect by any stretch, but here's Real Muto. They're getting the job done. 2-7, and that'll be a single with 2 outs. Second hit of the game for the Marlins. Derek Dietrich, or Dietrich, one or the other, however you want to say it. He probably says Dietrich. And there's a potential wild pitch. Santiago 1-3, and it's leaning. There's 19, so we don't have to worry about it. 2-9, 2-9, and this is going to be likely be a second and third situation. That's a double unless it's a 20. So it'll be second and third now. I just gave some plaudits to the pitchers, and Santiago immediately gives up 2 hits in a row here in the 4th. No score. Chris Johnson with runners at second and third. 3-7 against a lefty, and they're playing with the infield back. That's a grounder to short. Simmons up with it, throws to first, and another jam averted. We're going to the bottom of the 4th. Still no score. Marlins would love to get to 10-5. That would put them in a tie there for first place. With the loss by Pittsburgh earlier in the day. Here is Carlos Perez. 3-12 against a righty, and that'll be a grounder to Dietrich. Lazy throw to first in time against the catcher. Here is Ortega. Ortega, well, this is going to either be a single or a double. He does not have normal power, so 5-20. So an 80% chance at a double for Ortega here. And that's what he's going to get. Brings up Johnny Giavotella. Righty with a runner at second, Ortega. Let's see. What do we got here? 13. Okay, Fernandez a -2, and then you subtract 4. So that's a 1-7 chance. Tempted to try to get a lead with Ortega and see if he can get third base. But we're just going to go ahead and, especially this low in the order, let's do it. Manager getting a little frisky here. He's going to see if that Ortega can get a 4, 5, or 6 on the added red D6s. He doesn't get it, so he's staying put. So all is right in the world. Here's Giavotella. 4-8 against a righty. That is a strikeout. And so that brings up Hector Santiago. Again, pitcher's hitting card number 3. Got a chance here with a 1. Or with the pitcher roll. And that's a 4-8 against a righty. And that's another strikeout. Another 4-8. Oops. I need to do it this way. That is it for the fourth. Still zeros. These pitchers get their act together once they get behind the 8-ball, so to speak. Bear down. So Santiago, bottom of the order here, 8-hitter Hechavarria. Against a righty, 6-7 grounder to second. That's going to be Javatella, a 4E10. And let's see, that's a 13. Let's check out the E10 and a 13. Just to be sure. E10 and 13 at second base. And he makes the play. Pitcher Fernandez. That's a 4-7, but oh, I didn't need to roll the D20 there. 4-7, nobody's on base. Against a righty, he'll draw a walk. Brings up Martin Prado. (3-7). 3-7 against a lefty. 3-7. That is a single. 2 stars. So first and third with 1 away. And that brings up Ichiro. Double play depth here. They want to turn 2 and get out of this, although Ichiro is not exactly the best candidate for that. 6-4 against a lefty. Catcher X. They could get away with this with the catcher X roll. See Perez again, a 2E2, and so a 14 on the 2. That's going to be a foul out, and that is a big out. Now they can just try and focus on getting Stanton. Not easy to do, although I think in this season it's a little easier than it would have been. But again, lefty, boy, I'll tell you what. They're going to put Stanton on. I don't think the lefty wants to face him. So, going to load the bases to get to Yelich here. And that's a 3-11 ballpark single. Boy, and they might get away with this unless there's a low roll on the D20. 1-4 here, even in good conditions. Not a good ballpark single place. And it is going to be a liner that is caught by the second baseman, Javatella, and they get out of it. So the strategy does pay off in the end. No score still. Take a chance on doing that. You could really pay the price. Let's see, what 3-11, what would that have been? Would have been a grounder to short with Stanton, so. Okay, bottom of the 5th. Escobar, top of the order. Against a righty, 4-8, he strikes out. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strikeouts. Getting stronger as he goes on. Fernandez. Simmons. 5-7, another strikeout. And Cole Calhoun. 3-9 against a righty. And he strikes him out again. He strikes out the side. Only Perez and Ortega lack strikeouts in this game. And that makes it, what, 9? 10. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 strikeouts so far for Jose Fernandez. Putting together a nice outing on the West Coast. And we will go to the 6th. Still no score. Real Muto. 4-8 against a righty, and he's going to hit a high pop-up again. I think he already had that roll once before. Out number 1. Simmons makes the play. Derek Dietrich, 4-5 against a left-hander shortstop X-Chance. That is a tough play for Simmons. He's a 1E14. A high roll on the D6s, so we're going to have to check this. What is he? He is a 1. So that's a G1. Let's see. But then a 16 with an E14. E14, and fortunately for him, the 16 falls between the 15 and the 17. He makes the play for the second out. Chris Johnson against a righty, 6-4 catcher X. Another play for Perez. 2E2. 2 and a 5. That is a passed ball or pop-up. Nobody on base. That will be a pop-up unless there's an error. E2 and another high roll. That is, what, 17? A 2, this time a 2 and the 17 is an error. And so the PP and an E1 squib in front of the plate that the catcher can't handle. One base error. So the error extends the inning, gives Hechavarria a chance. Chris Johnson, does he have? He doesn't have a steal rating. 4-10 against a righty, strikes him out. Pitcher's duel here thus far, really. There's been some hits, but still no score. Bottom of the 6th, and it's Mike Trout leading it off. 5-5 against a right-hander, strikeout. That is now 6 strikeouts in a row for Fernandez. 11 on the game. Here is Pujols. 2-6 against a righty. This time it's going to be the pop out to short and ends that strikeout string. He finally makes some contact. Play made by Hechavarria. 2 down. Carlos Perez. And 110, a ballpark single opportunity, but it needs to be a 1-4, and it's going to be a 16. That'll be a line out to short. And 8 in a row retired by Fernandez. We'll go to the 7th. Santiago versus, and it's going to be Fernandez at the plate to lead off. I think this will be Santiago's last inning. He's faced a good number of batters here, and he will be third up in the order come the end of the inning. So Fernandez against the lefty, 3-7, grounder to short. Hechavarria throws to first, out number 1. Javatella. Wait, not Javatella. What am I saying? Prado. What did I just do? I put that in the wrong spot. And it was Simmons. Got a little ahead of myself here. Prado, 2-7 against a lefty. Grounder to short again. Let me move it down here. That will help. 2 down. Ichiro. Almost to the stretch. 5-4. Lefty. Grounder to third. It'll be Escobar, 4E25. 4 and a 4, that'll be a single. And let's see if there's an error on top of it. That's a 10. No error. 2 out single for Ichiro. 1 for 4 on the day. Santiago, the lefty, good at holding runners. Perez, so it's going to be the -5. They're going to let Stanton swing away here. They're going to not take the bat out of his hand by force of the steal. 1-9. 1-9. That ball is long, and that ball is gone. Home run, Giancarlo Stanton. No wonder they walked him last time. What am I doing here? Yeah, that's fine. I just forgot the way I was doing it. That is a 2-0 lead for the Marlins. Cranks it out, and the Angels are going to have to get the bullpen aroused. Let's see, who is... I'll go with Joe Smith. They're going to try to get Santiago through this inning, but Stanton crushes one. And Yelich comes to the plate now with 2 outs, nobody on, and a 2-0 lead for his team. 4-10 against a lefty, and he strikes him out. Kind of a wry grin there from Santiago. He knows that Stanton got the better of him there, and Fernandez will keep going. They're going to have Cliff Pennington pinch hit for the pitcher when he comes up. Rafael Ortega leading off against Fernandez. Fernandez pitching well in recent innings, 5-9 against a lefty. And another chance at a double. I think we already had this for Ortega. He's going to be 2 for 2. A double, 5-20. Single, 1-4. And that'll be another double. And the Marlins are going to think about some bullpen action now. They will get Kyle Barraclaw warming up. So Giavotella at the plate. .67 against a righty, grounder to second base. It's going to get the runner over at the very least. 4E10 for Dietrich. And let's see, they're holding on Ortega with a righty at the plate. That means that it's going to actually be 5E10 for Dietrich. And 3. My word, that is... I don't know if I've had tripled ones. All right, that's a single. That's going to score a run. And let's see. The 3 with an E10 at second base. No error. Low enough that it misses that, but it will be a single and a 2-base advance. And just like that, it's getting a bit tough here. They do bring in Pennington to pinch hit for Santiago. And they will let Fernandez pitch to him. Runner at first. Giavotella, is he a stolen base threat? He is. And with 1 out, they're not going to do that. Actually, there's nobody out, but still they're not going to. Pennington. 4-10, batting from the left side. That's a strikeout. Brings up Yunel Escobar. .68 against a righty, 6-8, and that is a single, and that is going to be it for, let's see, where is that single to? That was a single to center field. So Giavotella a 13, center fielder Suzuki -1 arm. He would have been held on, so 1-11 chance. not the greatest of opportunities to get Javatella to third base. They are going to hold him at second, and that's going to be it for Fernandez. So Bear Claw does come in. So Fernandez, he could win it, he could lose it. Both runners on base are his responsibility, and he has a 2-1 lead, but it could be 3-2 if Bear Claw doesn't come through here. Fernandez goes 6 1/3. Really good outing for him up until the 7th inning, and then he's kind of imploded here. So Simmons will face Bear Claw. So here we go. Oh, I forgot to roll the D20. That is a 4-9. Then the D20 is not going to be a problem. 4-9 against a righty, and that's a strikeout. 2 outs. Brings up Cole Calhoun. First and second, 2 outs, 2-1 lead. Can Bear Claw hold on to this lead for his starter Fernandez? 2-9 against a righty, and he will not. That is going to be at least a single. 1-5 would be a triple. It's a 4. Triple for Calhoun. 2 runs come in to score. And just like that, Fernandez is getting saddled with potentially with the loss here. 2-run triple for Cole Calhoun. And it's now a 3-2 lead for the Angels. And Santiago is now in line for the victory. Imagine that. And they could get the 4th run, which is at third base, if Trout can do something special here. And there's a 6-8 against a righty. Draws a walk. Bear Claw got that first out easy, and now it's getting a little tighter. Pujols, 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. 4-6 against a righty. Another walk. And Bear Claw reaches his point of weakness. They're going to have to stick with him. And it'll be Carlos Perez. 2 outs. Bases loaded. 2 on the D20 with a 3 means a potential balk. He has no rating, so we re-roll. Four-7 righty strikes him out. And that is the end of the 7th. 3 runs in the inning for the Angels as they bat around. And Bear Claw comes in. You'd think, looking by his card, he would be something special here, but he is, except you get half of the rolls off of the hitter card. And so if there's a hitter card there that's going to come after you, not much you can do about it. So we're going to do Joe Smith is going to come in for the 8th. Almost wonder if I should change who I'm bringing in now, but I didn't warm him up, so we're going to go with Smith. He is a 6-11. Santiago goes 7 innings. And he thought he was going to be on the hook for the loss here, but now his team has come through. But it'll be Real Muto. He's going to have to get Real Muto, Dietrich, and Johnson up and out to try and bridge it over to Houston Street. So here we go. Real Muto against Smith. 2-7 against a righty, and a leadoff single for Real Muto. The Angels are going to get another pitcher warming up here. It'll be Fernando Salas. So, runner at first, nobody out. Derek Dietrich. .26, and he draws a walk. Not the start of the inning that Joe Smith was thinking about. That will bring up Chris Johnson. And they're going to let Smith pitch to him. First and second, nobody out. 5-9 against a righty. That's a fly ball to left. That will be caught by Ortega. That's one out. Here is Hechavarria. .39, 3-9, and a 1-5 would be a home run. We've got to re-roll this D20. 1-5 home run. Otherwise, it's a fly ball to left. And it is a 20. That'll be another play made by Ortega. That's 2 outs. And the pitcher spot now up. They're going to go to... Well, with 2 on and 2 out, they're going to go to their big dog here. Justin Bohr off the bench. So, see if he can do something with it here. First and second, 2 outs. Bohr at the plate. 2 on the D20. That would have been a deep fly out, except there's a 2, so that's a balk chance. 1-11. It's a 4. That will be a balk. And it gives them a shot to... They could intentionally walk Bohr here, take the bat out of his hands, and leave it to Prado. Prado probably the better hitter for average, but Bohr... They're gonna let Smith pitch to him here. 2 outs, second and third. 4-12 against the lefty. Ballpark single. They might get out of this. 1-4. And it's a 15. They will. That'll be a line out to the second baseman. And that'll be it. No runs, a hit, a walk, 2 left. Smith gets the job done. Barely. Salas will sit back down. They're going to get Houston Street ready. Bear Claw's day is done. I didn't warm up anybody for the Marlins, but that's okay. They're going to use David Phelps here. Pretty sure Phelps is available. Yes, he is. So, Miami, Phelps, he's at 12. Okay, bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th. Still a 3-2 lead for the Angels. They'd love to tack on another one here. Rafael Ortega against Phelps. And I forgot to mark this as a pitching change. 3-9 against a righty. He will hit a grounder to Hechavarria, who calmly throws to first. Johnny Giavotella. Against a righty, 4-7. That's a walk. Pitcher's spot. They will call on Ji-Man Choi. The lefty. Runner on first. they will be holding him. 5-7 against a lefty, strikes him out. That brings up, oh, Pennington isn't there. Yunel Escobar, runner at first, 2 outs. Javitella, what's he do for running? 15. You got Real Muto -2, so that makes it 1-11. 1-12 because he's a +1. They're going to go ahead and try to get Javitella a stolen base here, get him second. 2 through 6. Doesn't get the lead, so he can't go. Or he could go, but he would probably be out by a mile. So here is Escobar, 2 outs, runner at first. 5-6 against a righty, strikes him out. All right, we're going to go to the top of the ninth. Slimmest of margins for the Angels. 3-2. Ooh. And it'll be Houston Street. Trying to get this save. And he is a guy that gets injured. So not a spring chicken by any means. And it'll be the top of the order that he will be facing. 3-2. See if he can hold on to this 1-run lead and get the save. Martin Prado, lead off the ninth. 4-5 against a righty, grounder to short. Wait, no, 4-5. Pardon me, that's a strikeout. Almost read that wrong. 1 down, Ichiro Suzuki. 1-11 against a righty. This will be a ballpark single chance. 1-4. 15, that will be a liner to the second baseman, and it is 2 outs, and it's time for Giancarlo Stanton. He went yard last time up. Can he do it again? Change the course of this game. 2 outs. Street looking to close it out. 6-6. That ball is long, and it is gone. That is a home run. Giancarlo Stanton, his second, the normal home run roll. Are you kidding me? 3-3. Stanton with the big bomb again. A 2-home run game. And it's now Christian Yelich. 4-9 against a lefty. That'll be a fly ball to center. And that'll be it. They get the run. Street blows the save, and it's going to be the bottom of the ninth. Marlins will stick with Phelps, but the game has changed drastically here. We could go extras if the middle of this order doesn't come through and figure out how to put a run on the board and send the fans home happy here at Angel Stadium. And Drelton Simmons, or Angelton Simmons, however you want to say it, against Phelps. Against a righty, 4-6, 1-7, a single. And that'll be 11. That'll be a grounder to Prado. 1 out. Cole Calhoun. 1 for 3 with a triple. 2-9 against a righty. And he could get another triple out of this. 1-5. It's a 6. That'll be a single, but that's good enough. Brings up Mike Trout. Runner on first, 1 away. 14 on the D20, 1-3. Ballpark single. Need a 1-4, is not likely, and it'll be a line out to short, 2 outs. Pujols. Are we going to go to extras? It's looking like it. See what happens. 5-5 against a righty, and he strikes him out. And we will go to extra innings. A tight ball game. Looked like Santiago was going to get the victory, but his closer, Houston Street, they may show him the street. They will let him they're going to have him go another inning in punishment. They will also get, let's see, who is not available. Octor isn't available. Alvarez isn't available. They will get Cam Bedrosian warming up if Street can't make it a quick inning here. 10th inning, Real Muto will face Street. 6-9 against a right-hander. Ballpark home run. 1-8. And it is gone. It's a 1. Not only does he give up the tying run, now he has given up the go-ahead run. And now they're just going to let him languish out here for a bit. We'll see. 3-7 against a righty, fly ball to left, 1 out. 2 home runs given up by Street. Chris Johnson, 5-4 righty, grounder to short. Simmons, 1E14. That's a 13. I think we had that before with the E14. Should make the play on that. Yes. 2 outs. Hachavarria, 112, grounder to short. So they may be second guessed for leaving Street in there another inning. Marlins will bring in A.J. Ramos, try and close this down. So Ramos will face Carlos Perez, and there may be a pinch hitter or 2 coming up here. They still got Crone on the bench, so Perez leading off. 1-4 ball. 1-4 pops out to second base, 1 out. Rafael Ortega. All they have is right-handed hitters. They're going to hold on. They'll use Ortega here. Against the lefty, 5-7. This could be a hit. 1-16. A single. And it's a 5. Well, they're going to bring up C.J. Crone. Pinch hit for Giavotella. (4-3) right now. Miami on top. Ramos trying to close it out here. C.J. Crone, the pinch hitter, with a runner at first. 1-3. Ballpark single. Not a great ballpark for ballpark singles. 1-4. It's an 11. That'll be a liner to the shortstop, and that's 2 outs. It'll bring up the pitcher's spot. And they're going to use Jet Bandy, just called up. So, Ramos not great at holding on. I think they're going to try to get Ortega a lead here. Doesn't get it, so. And they are holding him on. Keep that in mind. Here is Bandy against Ramos. 2 outs, runner at first. 6-5 against a righty, and that's a single to right. And, boy, they... Well, Marlins are going to let him advance to third and throw behind to keep Bandy at first. and it'll be Escobar with 2 outs. Could have done a throw to third on that, but then if he is successful, Bandy would have taken second on the throw, and so they would like to keep that winning run at first base. So here's Escobar with 2 outs. Ramos gives up a single off of his card. Here we go. Escobar, 2 outs. 3-5. Grounder to short. That will be the ball game as Hechavarria throws to first. And the Marlins come back and win 4-3 in 10 innings as David Phelps picks up the victory. The loss will go to Houston Street, and a blown save at that cost as well, and a save for Ramos. He gets the job done that Street couldn't. They do get runners on first and third, but I said Street gets the loss. Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't like... Sorry, Mr. Moley. I will tell you that I am a Phillies fan, so if you didn't already know that. So the Marlins winning is not exactly my my favorite result in the world either, but that's why we try and be fair. We try and read things the right way. We don't try and cheat. We do it the right way, and you just after the game's over, then you commiserate about the result, and that's what we're doing. So it's okay. No offense to the Marlins, but that's the way it is. So your player of the game is going to be Giancarlo Stanton. 3 runs batted in, including not only the game-tying home run with 2 outs in the top of the 9th, but he also drove in. He drove in 3 of the 4 runs. Yeah, thanks, Steve. I'm hoping that everything worked out right. I bought a new clamp so I could raise this setup higher. I bought that today, which is kind of nice. I hope that this is helpful. I kind of like it. I want to take a look on the... I'm glad I didn't have an extra inning game last night either. Like I said earlier in the game, those of you who are here, I really just need to keep a better attitude about this. This is all for fun, and there's no I guess this is an encouragement for you guys too, because maybe you guys feel this as well when you're playing your own games. Especially, we all have life that gets involved. We have, excuse me, we all have life that gets in the way of doing these kinds of things, and suffice it to say, life is generally more important than this, as much as I think we would love to have the priorities be able to be adjusted around. Some of you may be in the parts of your life where you can make much more time for this, and I am very much jealous of all of you, but there are some other things that can that can also bring, which can mean it can't be as easy to go out and spend money on these types of things. But when it comes right down to it, even if you're not doing a YouTube channel and feeling like you're under the gun because it's this time of day or you've got this coming up, you all have these kinds of things. So the best thing to do is, if you're feeling like that, it's tougher with this because I don't want to stop a video. But when it comes right down to it, if you have to, put it away and just relax. And later on, it'll be okay. Things will definitely look up for you. I'm sure it won't seem as much of a drag. Like last night, maybe I should have just... I hate doing that, though. I hate... And so that's the balancing act that it is, and that's life, really. When do you spend your time doing things? Do you let yourself get burnt out on activities, or do you say, you know what, I've had enough, I'm going to go ahead and put things away and take a break, and I'm sure when I get back things will feel better, and usually it does. If it doesn't, then maybe you are burned out. And that does happen. I don't know if it happens in this. I haven't quite reached it yet, but I can definitely, I think any time that you juggle endeavors that involve perceived commitment, that's when, so like a channel here, that's commitment. I mean, I feel like I have to put out videos to keep this channel in a place that we're you know, gaining members, that we're keeping people involved, we're growing the community, and so and that's great for now, but there may be a time, and so I'll also say that in being in a band, it's the same kind of thing. There can be these feelings where you get to the point where it's not only a commitment, but it's like a I don't know, drag maybe. It's like I've got to do it. You know, it's like it gets to be like a job. So, or a marriage in a way, if you want to call it that. Definitely Beatles. And I don't want to say that marriage, I don't want evil and marriage to be in the same sentence, but it's going to be here because it's like a necessary evil. Well, thank you, Mr. Moley. I appreciate your efforts. I know it's got to be difficult following baseball over in the UK. But I also know that the morning game here probably helps you out a lot. I'm always wrong. Yeah, in a band, you're often wrong. Trust me. A band, especially if musicians are a notorious... yeah, well, no, but I mean, marriage... He was equating bands to marriage, and I think that is an aspect that is very true. You get a lot of people who think they can be cooks, and you know, and like they say, many cooks spoil the broth. So if you can't check your ego at the door, and you know, then you're going to run into problems in the long run. Speaking of music, I just want to also, lastly, before I sign off here, because this is our channel here, a great part of my life passed away yesterday. Walter Becker, multi-instrumentalist for Steely Dan, one of the co-founders of it. Him and Donald Fagen met at Bard College in the whatever, it's on the Hudson, north of New York City. Pioneers in music as far as I'm concerned. You know, they don't always get their due, I think, because their music is often on the you know, they've made some accessible music, but they also ended up making some that was, I would say, more experimental in ways, using jazz and blues. I mean, I think blues can make it in pop a lot, but jazz is a lot tougher. You know, you see jazz influence more in, let's say, rhythm and blues and stuff like that. But getting that on the mainstream radio and having people appreciate chord progressions that aren't just your standard 1, 4, 5s, and maybe sprinkle in a 6 minor, maybe a 2 minor if you know, you really get off the beaten path. I mean, that's kind of like your typical radio music, and you know, you listen to anything from you know, your minor blues, Do It Again, to you know, all the way up to like Hey 19, which, you know, has all sorts of strange you know, turnarounds, and like you say, the the jazz chords with fourth and fifth notes in the midst of your typical triads and such. You know, it's just something that if you take the time with a guitar and start learning how to play those, number one, you're going to get a sore hand. Number two, you may just really expand your vocabulary when it comes to there's Ricky, don't lose that number. Baseball Demos chimes in with that. Yeah, so lots of songs. I mean, I named two because they sort of represent for me the beginning and the end of their very popular phase. They had a couple albums in the 2000s that I like, but I don't. One of them won a Grammy. I think it was almost like a lifetime achievement Grammy for album of the year. It's Two Against Nature, but you know, they never got recognized enough in the 70s when you had all of this other stuff that was going on. Yeah, Deacon Blues. My favorite song of theirs, it varies oftentimes, but I would say in that mix is usually three. I could name two of them right off the top of my head. Dr. Wu, Home at Last. Those are like my two favorites, but I'll sprinkle in all sorts of other ones that just, you know, Barrytown's a neat song. That's a little more simple as far as like chord progressions and things. Give you an album to start with. Probably if you are, I would say it depends on what you're interested in. If you like classic rock, the Can't Buy a Thrill album is where you want to go. That's where you're going to get your more standard classic rock sound. If you like prog rock, go to Asia. Asia, start with that one, or start with the Royal Scam. Because you're going to get Royal Scam, you're going to get Larry Carlton and all of this, you know, all of his excellent soloing over, you know, heavy guitar soloing over really interesting chord progressions. You end up seeing the breadth of his ability as a high T-ball, the breadth of Larry Carlton's ability as a soloist on the guitar to just open up chord progressions that you just will not hear in any other song. Kid Charlemagne was on that album, and yeah. So I'm just waxing poetic about Walter Becker here, Stratomatic, Delaware. I'd have to bring that up. See, yes, that is so you get those two. Gaucho is their final album from the 70s phase, and so that one has a little, it goes a little more loop. They started using, they were actually pioneers when it came to looping. They would loop tape, like with drum track. So they were sort of like the pioneers of the drum track. And when it came to the end of the 70s, that was actually one of the Grammys that they did win. I think that might have been the only Grammy was for production. It was Roger Nichols who was their producer or engineer, and with him they developed the idea of taking a drum loop on tape, mind you, basically joining ends of tape, and you know, creating this perfect. I mean, that's something that probably will not be duplicated in the long run of music, because their level of perfection, this is Fagen and Becker, mind you, their level of perfection can be attained now with the use of computers. They did it with tape, punching in, and actually that might have been part of the reason. If you go back and read about the album Gaucho, they actually lost a significant amount of material from that album. They had at least a couple songs that were finished products that were very good from everything I've heard. You can find one of the songs you can find on YouTube. Someone's put up some crappy demo recordings of these songs, but Second Arrangement's one. I've actually heard a crappy recording of what was lost, like, so their finished product, but see, they lost heart. So someone at the studio, if you know anything about recording, basically they were they reused reels of magnetic tape, and they took the master, or whatever you want to call it, the main copy of what they had done, and just in the course of erasing tape to make new tape for someone else to use, they erased these songs, and there were like at least 2, there may have been more than that they had finished up. Second Arrangement was one of them, and that goes down in the lore as a song that you know, Steely Dan fans are like, they would have loved to have eaten it up. They were we'd been hoping that they would have re-recorded that on a new album, but I think they just decided that was whatever, karma, whatever you believe in. Maybe that it just didn't mean to be recorded, and it's unfortunate because. So anyway, but that's their level of perfection. They did that through. They would bring in musicians, like, so there was just 2 of them in the end. They started out with a 6-piece band themselves and 4 other guys, and even at the beginning, Donald Fagen was not confident in his vocal ability, so they had another singer who sang. If you're familiar with the song "Dirty Work," you will hear that guy. I think his name is David Palmer. But anyway. But they got to the point where they got to be such perfectionists. They didn't like the road. They didn't like touring. And so part of it was, I think they got messed up in some drugs as well, especially Becker. Maybe part of the reason that he died at the age of 67 was damage that was done in those years. I believe he was hit by a bus towards the end of that time, maybe during the recording of Gaucho. And so, but anyway, so they got to the point where they hired session musicians to come in, and they would bring in scads of musicians to try and pull off these solos. And it's just, you know, there's some good books out there about it. There's a couple good videos. The Asia Classic Albums talks about it some. But anyway, Walter Becker, rest in peace. Him and Fagen brought such joy to my life through their music. And I wouldn't at all call their music necessarily joyful, but I think it's life in a way, in that they saw not only they didn't often see the good in humanity, but I think they often saw the not so good in humanity, and found a way to create music that allowed you to feel at home in this world where most of us are not so perfect. And there's a lot of not so perfect people in this world, even though if you watch the TV it seems like everything seems so great. Nothing seems great really at this point, but you know, everyday people have a rough go of it too, and so you're one of them. And I think that's what a lot of what their music was about, is, you know, we're all in this together. And it was also just to make a bunch of great music that paid homage back to the jazz era of sort of the 30s through the early 70s, basically when they were kids and starting to come around into the mainstream of rock and roll. So interesting. So anyway, I will close this down, but I felt like this is a place where I can talk about it a bit, and so I figured I would just share. And I don't know, maybe some of you who, I see that there was a guy from the UK who maybe had never been, I hope that he has a listen and enjoys, because as far as, I wouldn't call them prog rock. I mean, they're not going to get into that, you know, ELP or, you know, Yes or Rush. They're not really in that vein so much, but I think people who appreciate those bands in that genre will also, you know, come to appreciate the sophistication that was in what they did. So rest in peace, Walter Becker. thanks for the 11 of you who have stayed around to listen to this, and those of you who are watching after the fact. I'm hoping that there are a few of you who are watching who are also Steely Dan fans. I'm going to put it in the title. So maybe some of you have learned a thing or two about what they were about, and who knows, maybe the great thing is that the remaining partner that he had in the band, Donald Fagen, has said he's going to keep the name going. It's not going to quite feel the same. It's not going to quite feel the same without Becker there. I mean, but the music still will endure. So anyway, thanks for watching. At least for this video, it's much more than just Strat. I've been trying to stay away from certain topics, namely politics, but we don't really need to go there so much. But yeah, we like baseball. We like a lot of things. So anyway, it was a not such an easy day for me yesterday, but maybe that's part of the reason I was so tired during the game. Was just I wasn't like weeping or anything, just a lot going on, a lot of emotion that I'm wasn't sure how quite to handle. So anyway, thanks a lot. Final score of this: Miami 4, LA 3. Miami sweeps the Angels, and the Angels drop to 5-10, while the Marlins go up to a tie for first with Pittsburgh and Oakland. So until next time, I'm not sure, T-ball. I am not 100% sure. I'll have to I'll be back. I may be back with the golf game later today. We'll see. I'm trying to figure out if I have time to. I mean, I definitely would have. There's a lot of time left in the day, but I have some things I need to do today, like lawn mowing and things like that. So, all right, take it easy. Thanks a lot. Strat on. Have a great day, everybody, and do it again. See ya.